Welcome back to Valuable Coins in today's video. We're diving into some of the most valuable coins that could make you a millionaire. If you've ever wondered if you might be sitting on a small fortune, you'll want to stick around. We're covering rare wheat pennies and quarter-dollar coins worth huge money in today's auction market. These coins could be your ticket to a life-changing payout. Let's get started. First, up the 1955 Lincoln wheat penny, particularly the 1955 large date with a D mint mark in black. Dirty condition is one of the most intriguing and sought after coins in numismatics today. This coin has seen a surge in popularity due to its historical significance, unique characteristics, and the enduring appeal of the Lincoln Wheat series. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner, whose portrait of Lincoln graced the obverse of the coin. The reverse featured two stalks of wheat, symbolizing America's agricultural roots. The wheat penny was produced until 1958, when it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design. The 1955 large date variety is particularly significant because it was released during a time when the United States was experiencing rapid economic growth after World War I. In this era, the U.S. was transitioning from a wartime economy to a peacetime one, which meant a massive influx of coins circulating in the market. The obverse of the 1955 Lincoln wheat penny features a bust of Abraham Lincoln in profile. The inscription Liberty runs along the left edge, and the year 1955 appears below Lincoln's portrait. The D mint mark, located beneath the date, indicates that this coin was minted at the Denver Mint. The reverse showcases two stalks of wheat, which have become iconic in numismatics. The coin's design is simple yet powerful, representing both the country's heritage and its economic promise. In terms of mintage, the 1955 large date penny was produced in large quantities. Over 1.5 billion coins were struck that year. However, it's the condition and specific varieties that matter in the current market. The large date variety stands out because of the distinctive, larger numbers that were struck in comparison to the small date version. This difference is subtle but noticeable to those with a trained eye. The black, dirty condition of this coin adds another layer of intrigue. While a coin in poor condition would usually fetch a much lower price, the presence of dirt or tarnish on coins like this one often adds character, and for some collectors, it's a testament to the coin's age and journey. This gives it a unique appeal for buyers who see coins with history etched into their surfaces. In the current market, a 1955 large-date Lincoln wheat penny in dirty or worn condition can fetch around $51,000 in auction. However, coins with error characteristics, such as double die varieties, can raise the value significantly. For instance, the famous 1955 double die obverse, in which the date and lettering appear double due to a minting error, can fetch upwards of $100,000 or more in excellent condition. The 1955 Lincoln penny is particularly known for the double die error, which occurred when the die used to strike the coin was misaligned. This error causes the date and other inscriptions to appear to be doubled, making it one of the most famous errors in U.S. coinage history. While the coin we are discussing in this video doesn't have the double die error, its blackened and worn state adds a layer of history that might attract collectors seeking to complete a set of unique, story-rich coins. As a result, the 1955 large-date Lincoln wheat penny with a D mint mark, especially in dirty condition, remains a coin of interest among collectors who value its connection to a pivotal time in American history and its intriguing characteristics. Next up, we have the 1979 Washington quarter dollar with AD error mint mark. This coin is highly unique due to its error and significant damage, which actually enhances its appeal to certain collectors. The 1979 Washington quarter was minted as part of the usual production of the series, but this coin became noteworthy because of its minting error. The D error mint mark is especially intriguing because it was incorrectly stamped onto the coin, which some collectors consider a rare anomaly. Let's take a quick look at the historical backdrop. By 1979, the Washington quarter had been part of American coinage for nearly 50 years. The coin's reverse side, which features an eagle in flight, remained unchanged, but the obverse portrait of Washington was altered slightly over time to reflect the style of the era. 1979 also marked the beginning of an era of increased interest in collecting coins due to the availability of new and unique varieties. With the economy booming in the late 1970s, many coins were mass-produced, but errors like the error mint mark were still uncommon and intriguing. Now, onto the big question. What makes this coin valuable? The 1979 quarter with the D mint mark error, especially in fine condition, has seen increasing interest from collectors. But what sets this one apart is its overall condition, which, despite the damage, makes it even rarer and more attractive to error coin collectors. At auction, the 1979 Washington quarter dollar with the DE error mint mark can fetch prices ranging from $66,000, depending on the severity of the damage and the collector's interest in such coins. The obverse damage and reverse hole only add to the coin's mystique, making it a fascinating piece for anyone interested in error coins or unusual coinage. Although the damage on the coin makes it less aesthetically pleasing for some collectors, others see this as an opportunity to acquire a coin with unique characteristics. The hole on the reverse side and the obverse damage both tell a story of this coin's journey through time. These flaws don't diminish the coin's value in the eyes of those seeking a truly one-of-a-kind piece. For error coin enthusiasts, the 1979 D error mint mark with damage is particularly sought after because it represents an anomaly in production, showcasing that even in mass production, there can be mistakes that make a coin special. Next up, the 1952 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark. This coin is particularly interesting because it features a distinct line of damage on the reverse side, making it an example of a circulated condition penny with a certain degree of imperfection. The 1952 Lincoln wheat penny is part of a series that was minted to honor the legacy of President Abraham Lincoln. By 1952, the United States was well into the post-World War I economic boom, which saw a vast circulation of coins. As a result, coins from this period were produced in massive numbers, but that doesn't mean every coin from this era is easily found or common. Lincoln pennies like this one, without a mint mark, were minted at the Philadelphia Mint. While they were circulated widely, many were lost to time, wear, and damage, adding to the rarity of well-preserved examples. The obverse of the 1952 Lincoln penny features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, along with the inscription Liberty and the year 1952. Unlike the 1955 large date penny, the 1952 version features a more standard-sized date, characteristic of the era. The reverse displays 2 stalks of wheat, which was a symbol of the nation's agricultural strength and heritage. What makes this specific 1952 penny stand out is the damage line that runs across the reverse side. This line of damage occurred either from wear and tear or from mishandling during circulation. It's not unusual for coins that have been in circulation for many years to bear signs of wear, scratches, or other imperfections. These damage lines can sometimes add a bit of character to the coin, but also decrease its overall value. In 1952, the U.S. Mint produced approximately 1.1 billion Lincoln wheat pennies, making it a fairly common coin in terms of mintage. However, the value of this coin today is highly dependent on its condition. Most 1952 pennies, especially those without a mint mark, are worth only a few cents if they're in well-worn or circulated condition. A coin in fair condition with damage lines like the one featured in this video could fetch anywhere from $300,000 to $234 in the current market. However, the key to this coin's value is not just its mintage or condition. It's the collector demand for Lincoln wheat pennies from the 1950s. Collectors often seek out coins from this era to complete specific sets, and damaged examples, while not as valuable as those in pristine condition, can still hold appeal for some collectors. While this particular 1952 penny does not feature a minting error like the 1955 double die, its uniqueness lies in its worn state and the damage line on the reverse side. These types of coins are often sought after by collectors who are looking for circulated condition, pennies with unique histories, or those who specialize in collecting coins that have been through the wars of circulation. Coins with circulation marks or scratches sometimes fetch a premium from collectors who are focused on the story of the coin rather than its perfect condition. As a result, even a 1952 penny in relatively poor condition can have value, though it won't reach the same price as coins in better states of preservation. Next up, the 1969 Washington $quarter coin marks an important year in the history of U.S. coinage. At the time, the United States was experiencing significant social and economic change. The country was in the midst of the Vietnam War, and President Lyndon B. Johnson was leading the country through a period of social unrest and civil rights movements. The Washington quarter itself, introduced in 1932 to commemorate George Washington's 200th birthday, would go on to be a constant in U.S. currency. The 1969 Washington quarter in particular stands out due to its unique position in the larger context of U.S. coinage during the late 1960s. The year 1969 marked the end of the 1960 silver coinage era, as the U.S. began shifting away from using silver in its currency by 1971 due to rising costs and the demand for silver. This particular quarter is an iconic piece for collectors due to its relatively low mintage compared to later years. One distinguishing feature of the 1969 Washington quarter is its lack of a mint mark. The absence of a mint mark indicates that it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, as quarters from that time period, struck in Philadelphia, typically did not have mint marks. The mintage of the 1969 Washington quarter without a mint mark was a significant issue in terms of demand and rarity. Although there were over 240 million 1969 quarters produced, most of them were put into circulation, leading to considerable wear and tear. This makes it more challenging to find one in excellent condition, and it directly affects its market value. In circulated condition, this coin's value can range anywhere from $78,000, but those in excellent or uncirculated condition can fetch much higher prices at auction. Coins from the 1960s, especially those without mint marks, have captured the attention of collectors due to their rarity and historical context. While this coin might not have a premium due to an error or misstriking, its condition and demand drive its market value up, especially for collectors looking for coins from this pivotal decade. While the 1969 Washington quarter doesn't have the famous errors found in other years like the 1969 S-double die, it's still a collector's item due to its absence of a mint mark and the overall quality of its preservation. The market for 1969 quarters is active, with collectors focusing on acquiring high-quality versions, which can make finding a pristine example challenging. For error enthusiasts, the 1969 Washington quarter is more about its historical value and place in the series, rather than specific mint errors. Next up, the 1944 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny is a highly collectible coin because it represents a significant year in the history of the United States. 1944 was during the height of World War II, a period when the U.S. government faced shortages of certain materials needed for war efforts, including copper. As a result, the U.S. Mint switched to producing steel pennies during the war years, but by 1944, copper was back in use for the 1-cent coin. The 1944 penny is particularly notable because it was the last of the World War II era wheat pennies. This coin features the familiar design of the Lincoln cent, which had been in production since 1909. The coin showcases the image of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner. The reverse of the coin displays 2 stalks of wheat, symbolizing the country's agricultural strength. The design of the 1944 Lincoln penny remained unchanged from previous years, with Lincoln's portrait on the obverse, facing right. His iconic image is set against a background of vertical lines that highlight his face. On the reverse, the wheat stalks, representing the nation's agricultural backbone, are displayed. The coin's composition in 1944 was 95 copper and 5 tin and zinc, giving it the distinct reddish-brown color that is a hallmark of the coin. The 1944 penny features the D mint mark for Denver, indicating it was produced at the Denver Mint. This is important because mint marks can impact the value of a coin, and the demint mark adds to the coin's uniqueness and potential value in the market. The 1944 penny with the demint mark is one of the more common variations of the Lincoln wheat cent, with an estimated mintage of over 430 million coins. However, its value can vary significantly based on its condition. In circulated condition, such as the one we're discussing, these pennies typically range in value from $1 to $3. However, coins that are well preserved or have higher grades, such as very fine or uncirculated conditions, can fetch significantly higher prices at auction. The key to determining the value of this coin is the rarity and condition of the specimen. While a worn coin in circulated condition may not hold an immense value, a coin that's well preserved, with sharp details and minimal wear, can fetch anywhere from $20,000 depending on the market. Coins with specific errors such as double die strikes or misaligned dies could increase the value of the 1944 penny exponentially. In fact, one notable variety, the 1944 steel penny, has seen significant price appreciation due to its rarity and production error. The 1944 Lincoln penny is also known for its error coins, and these are highly sought after by collectors. The most famous of these is the 1944 steel penny. Due to a mistake at the mint, a few steel planchettes left over from the 1943 steel pennies were used in the production of the 1944 copper pennies. These coins, though extremely rare, have sold for thousands of dollars in auctions. While these era coins are not common, they are among the most valuable in the Lincoln Wheat Penny series. Overall, the 1944 Lincoln penny remains an attractive coin for collectors, especially those interested in error varieties or the historical context of coins produced during the war years. In its circulated condition, it may not be the most valuable penny out there, but the potential for finding rare varieties and its place in U.S. history makes it a prized possession. Next up, 1966 is another important year for the Washington quarter. This was a time of significant economic change in the United States, with the country still firmly engaged in the Vietnam War and enduring tensions from the Civil Rights Movement. The 1966 quarter is part of a series of quarters that mark the final years of silver coinage before the U.S. Treasury moved to clad coins with copper nickel. Though the 1966 Washington quarter was produced in large numbers, it stands out because it was one of the last quarters to be minted with silver before the nation shifted away from using precious metals in regular circulation coins. The decision to move to copper nickel was largely economic, as the cost of silver was rising and the U.S. Mint could no longer afford to continue producing silver coins. Much like the 1969 quarter, the 1966 Washington quarter features the iconic John Flanagan design with George Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. The obverse inscriptions include Liberty at the top, the year 1966 beneath Washington's bust, and In God We Trust to the left. The reverse features the American eagle holding arrows and an olive branch, along with the United States of America at the top and E pluribus unum at the bottom. In terms of mintage, over 180 million 1966 Washington quarters were minted without a mint mark at the Philadelphia Mint. While the overall production was high, most of these quarters were circulated, making it difficult to find them in higher grades. In fine condition, the 1966 Washington quarter typically commands a price of around $200,036 depending on its exact condition and other market factors. The interest in this coin is driven not only by its historical context as one of the last silver quarters, but also by the ongoing appeal of Washington quarters from this era. Because they were minted in large numbers and circulated heavily, collectors often seek out the 1966 Washington quarter in higher grade conditions. This has made the coin an ongoing focus for both collectors and investors. The 1966 Washington quarter, though not widely known for mint errors, does have some unique characteristics in terms of collector interest. A key focus for collectors is the coin's condition. Fine and above grades are most in demand, and there is a niche group of collectors who focus specifically on Washington quarters from the mid-1960s. While the lack of mint marks on many 1966 quarters might not be seen as an error, it's certainly an attractive feature for those who are completing mint mark collections. Next up, the 1947 Lincoln Wheat Penny, particularly the large date variety, is an interesting coin in the history of U.S. numismatics. The design of the Lincoln cent had remained relatively unchanged since 1909, and 1947 marked the post-war period, which saw a steady recovery in the U.S. Economy. The coin continues to feature the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, this time paired with a reverse design featuring 2 stalks of wheat. However, what sets the 1947 large date penny apart from its smaller date counterpart is the size and positioning of the digits. This distinction occurred as a result of changes to the dies used to mint the coins during that year. The large date version became a subject of collector interest because the variations in the date size were not as common, and finding one in good condition became a matter of luck. Like the 1944 penny, the 1947 Lincoln cent has an obverse featuring the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, but the most significant feature here is the date, which is noticeably larger compared to the standard size of the digits used in earlier years. This large date version has become the focus of many collectors who seek to add unique varieties of the Lincoln penny to their collections. The reverse of the coin still features the 2 stalks of wheat, symbolizing America's agricultural heritage. However, the coin's condition is crucial to its value, especially for coins in full damage condition. A coin in poor condition, with significant scratches, discoloration, and other damage, will naturally have a lower market value. However, full damage examples of this coin are rare and still hold some collector interest due to their status as survivors of the era. The 1947 penny saw a mintage of over 1.2 billion coins, so it's not a particularly rare coin in terms of availability. However, the value of the coin can fluctuate dramatically based on its condition. In full damage condition, it's generally valued $10,000. If a coin with a large date has significant wear, collectors may still find it worth owning due to the rarity of well-preserved examples from that era. The rarity of the large date version, when compared to the regular size date, can increase its value even in a damaged state. Coins like the 1947 large date with no mint mark could command slightly higher prices than their smaller date counterparts due to the difference in die configuration. Despite being a coin in damaged condition, collectors are still keenly interested in the 1947 large date penny due to its unique status in the Lincoln cent series. It's not only a piece of American history, but also an example of the way coins were produced in the post-war period, making it valuable to anyone looking to complete a collection of Lincoln wheat pennies. First coin on our list is the 1967 Washington quarter dollar. Although it may seem like just another quarter in the grand scheme of things, this coin has gained considerable attention, especially for collectors who specialize in Washington quarters. The 1967 large date in particular is one that can fetch surprising amounts at auction, particularly when found in fine condition. First, let's take a look at the history of this coin. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the nation's first president, George Washington. Created by artist John Flanagan, the design features a portrait of Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse, symbolizing strength and freedom. This design remained largely unchanged for decades, although there were a few variations in detail over the years. By 1967, the country was in the midst of the post-World War IE boom, and the economy was thriving. However, 1967 also marked a period of transition for the U.S. Mint, as the nation was entering the era of silver coinage debasement. The Washington quarter had been made of 90 silver until 1965, when silver was removed from the coin's composition due to rising costs and a shortage of silver. Starting in 1965, the Washington quarter was minted with a copper-nickel composition instead. In 1967, the U.S. Mint struck 295 million quarters. Despite the massive mintage, certain varieties like the large date version, in fine condition, have remained rare and valuable to collectors. The coin's large date design, which is subtly distinguishable from the smaller date, was part of a regular minting issue, but the precise reasoning behind the different date sizes has been the subject of much speculation. Now you might wonder, why is the 1967 Washington quarter so valuable? The answer lies in its rarity, condition, and collector interest. Coins that are in fine condition with minimal wear and well-defined features can fetch quite a bit at auction. While the 1967 quarter is not among the most commonly collected coins, the fine condition large date version stands out as a special example. In today's auction market, the 1967 Washington quarter in fine condition can sell for anywhere from $40,000 depending on the demand and the specific market conditions. However, if you happen to find a particularly well-preserved piece, the value could exceed that, especially if it's certified by a reputable grading service. As with any collectible coin, condition is everything. A coin in fine condition typically shows clear details, but may have some signs of wear from circulation. In the case of the 1967 large date Washington quarter, collectors particularly value sharp, readable digits on the date and well-struck design features, such as the facial details of Washington and the eagle's wing. Though there are no major errors associated with the 1967 large date quarter, some collectors are on the lookout for any subtle flaws or variations, as even the slightest imperfection can make a significant difference in value. For example, some 1967 coins have been noted to exhibit slightly different textures or minor die breaks, though these are rarer. Next up, the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny is one of the most well-known coins in American numismatic history. Its significance lies not only in its design, but also in the circumstances under which it was minted. This particular coin, the 1944 large date version with an S mint mark, was issued during World War II, a period in which the United States was experiencing intense economic and industrial challenges. The S mint mark indicates that this penny was struck at the San Francisco Mint, one of the key facilities that produced currency for the nation during the war years. The design of the Lincoln wheat penny itself, created by renowned artist Victor David Brenner, features a profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, which was modeled after a portrait by sculptor Leonard Vogt. On the reverse, the wheat ears flank the words E pluribus unum, symbolizing the agricultural backbone of the United States. This simple yet powerful design has made the wheat penny one of the most iconic coins in the history of American currency. The 1944 year is particularly significant because it marked the end of a major wartime shift in coinage production. During the war, copper and other metals were in short supply, leading to the production of steel pennies in 1943. However, by 1944, copper was again used in penny production, leading to the return of the familiar copper-based Lincoln wheat pennies. The 1944 large date with the S mint mark is a highly sought-after version, due in part to its historical context and the fact that it was minted during a turbulent period in American history. The design features of the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny are remarkably simple, yet elegant. The obverse showcases President Lincoln, with the year 1944 inscribed beneath his bust, and the mint marks located just to the right of the date. The reverse, in true Lincoln penny tradition, is adorned with 2 stalks of wheat surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America. While the design itself has remained largely unchanged throughout the years, the characteristics of this specific coin have made it an object of immense interest among collectors. Despite being a standard issue penny, its value increases significantly when certain conditions are met, including its rarity, mint mark, and condition. The 1944 Lincoln wheat penny with the S mint mark was produced in large numbers, with millions of these coins being struck at the San Francisco Mint. However, as with any collectible item, the condition of the coin plays a major role in determining its market value. In its most common state, a 1944 S wheat penny in circulated condition will generally be worth only a few cents over face value. However, when found in excellent or uncirculated condition, the value can increase substantially. A coin in dirty color damage condition, such as the one we're focusing on today, will likely have diminished value, but its rarity, combined with the historical interest of the 1944 series, can still fetch a significant price in today's auction market. This particular coin, despite its condition, can range from $200,000 in value, depending on its exact state and the level of damage it has sustained. Coins with significant wear or discoloration due to exposure to the elements or mishandling will generally fetch lower prices. However, collectors may still show interest in the coin due to its historical value, unique mint mark, and the rarity of any surviving coins from this era. Even though this coin is in a less than ideal condition, it still holds potential for error. Based value. Over the years, there have been reports of various minting errors for the 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny series, including double die errors and misstrikes. These kinds of imperfections can significantly increase the value of a coin, even one that is heavily worn. For example, if this coin were to feature an unusual minting error, such as a double die or overstrike error, its value could skyrocket into the hundreds of dollars. As a result, even coins in less than perfect condition can still attract substantial interest from collectors who are hunting for rare errors. Collectors of Lincoln Wheat pennies often focus on the rarer dates, mint marks, and error varieties, and they are always on the lookout for interesting finds, even in less than perfect condition. While this 1944 SEL's large date penny in dirty color damage condition may not be in pristine form, its historical significance and potential for error-based value make it an appealing option for serious collectors. Next up, the 1995 Washington quarter dollar is an important coin for collectors of modern U.S. currency. Though it was issued as part of the regular minting series, its place in numismatic history is marked by both its standard design and the unique context of its era. In 1995, the U.S. Mint was still producing coins under the Washington Quarter Series, which was introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The coin's obverse, designed by John Flanagan, features a left-facing portrait of Washington set against a backdrop of the motto "In God We Trust." The reverse, featuring an eagle perched on a branch, has remained relatively unchanged since the original design. In 1995, the Mint released more than 1 billion Washington quarters with the EP Mint mark, indicating they were produced in Philadelphia. The coin was widely circulated and found in the pockets of millions of Americans, which means most of these coins today are in circulated condition. While many might overlook this as a relatively common coin, collectors are often on the lookout for certain variations or specimens in better than average condition. The 1995 Washington quarter had a mintage of 1,077,258,000 coins, which is quite large compared to many other rarer coins in the U.S. Mint's history. This large mintage often means that coins from this year in circulated condition tend to be on the lower end of the value spectrum for modern quarters. In circulated condition, the 1995 Washington quarter with the P Mint mark is typically valued at only a few dollars. However, if you come across a specimen that has been preserved in better than average condition, it can fetch a significantly higher value. In some cases, uncirculated specimens can range from $245,000, depending on their grade. While the 1995 Washington quarter is not particularly rare, collectors show strong interest in it due to the sheer volume of them that were minted and the fact that it's still part of an iconic series. One interesting thing to note is that coin collectors often seek out coins that were released in specific years, as those years carry a sense of nostalgia or historical significance for many. The 1995 Washington quarter doesn't have any significant errors that set it apart from other quarters in the same series. However, collectors will often look for specimens that are well struck with clear detail on the coin, particularly around the hair, nose, and the Washington profile. Some of the more significant errors, such as misstruck coins or those with a double die, might be valuable, but these are rare. Next up, the 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny with the D Mint mark is another important coin in the Wheat penny series, although it was struck more than a decade after the 1944 issue. By 1957, the United States had entered a period of post-war prosperity, and the economic landscape had significantly changed. The design and production of the Lincoln Wheat pennies remained largely unchanged during this time, though the 1957 penny holds unique significance as one of the last year issues before the Lincoln Memorial reverse design took over in 1959. The 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny was struck at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the D Mint mark. The coin features the same design elements as the previous years, including the portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the wheat stalks on the reverse. However, the 1957 issue is often considered more common compared to earlier years, and as a result, it generally carries a lower market value unless it is in excellent condition or exhibits special features. Like other coins in the series, the 1957 Lincoln Wheat Penny features a classic design that showcases President Lincoln on the obverse, with the year 1957 and the D Mint mark inscribed near the bottom. On the reverse, 2 stalks of wheat flank the words 1 cent and United States of America. This straightforward yet iconic design has made the Lincoln Wheat Penny a favorite among collectors. For this particular coin, the scratches and damage present on the surface can significantly reduce its market value. However, even coins in less than ideal condition can still be highly collectible, especially if they possess unique characteristics or exhibit potential for error. In 1957, the Denver Mint struck a large quantity of Lincoln Wheat pennies, and millions of these coins were produced and circulated. The 1957 D Mint mark penny is more common than other years in the series, but it still holds interest for collectors, particularly those focused on completing their wheat penny collections. In general, a 1957 D wheat penny in a well-worn or scratched condition is valued at $66,000, depending on the severity of the scratches and damage. However, coins that have been well preserved or remain uncirculated can easily fetch $77,000 or more in today's auction market. While this particular scratched and damaged coin may not reach the same high values as an uncirculated version, it still retains its appeal as part of the broader Lincoln Wheat penny collection. Additionally, the historical significance of the year and mint mark means it will always have a place in the hearts of collectors. As with many coins, the 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny is not without its errors. Over the years, some 1957 D pennies have been discovered with double die obverse errors, which have made them highly valuable among collectors. Although this coin, in its scratch condition, does not seem to feature any errors, coins with errors are always in demand. Collectors often look for unique features such as overstrikes, die cracks, or other minting anomalies. Even with scratches and damage, if a coin is found to have an unusual characteristic or error, its value can increase dramatically. Next up, the 1980 Washington Quarter is another intriguing example from the Washington Quarter series. Unlike the 1995 version, this coin is particularly noted for a large date variant and the P-pair mint mark that makes it stand out in the market. The 1980s were a time of economic challenges in the United States, with inflation rates high and a significant shift in the country's economic structure. The U.S. Mint continued to strike the Washington Quarter, a coin that by this time had become a staple of American currency. However, the 1980 Washington Quarter is notable for the specific issue regarding the large date, a design alteration that occurred during production. Obverse. As with most Washington Quarters, the obverse displays a left-facing bust of George Washington, with his name George Washington and the year of issue, 1980. Reverse. The reverse design remains unchanged, showcasing the heraldic eagle. Mint mark. The mint mark's PP represents the Philadelphia Mint, though some 1980 coins display an incorrect mint mark placement, leading to the error that is of interest to collectors. Mintage. The 1980 Washington Quarter had a total mintage of approximately 672 million coins, making it another coin with a relatively high circulation rate. However, not all 1980 quarters are created equal, as some display a large date and pair mint mark. The market value of the 1980 Washington Quarter with the P-error mint mark depends heavily on the condition of the coin. While a regular 1980 Washington Quarter in circulated condition might be worth only face value or slightly more, a coin in fine or very fine condition with the error can command much higher prices. Coins with this error, especially if they are well preserved, could sell for $20,000 depending on the buyer's interest and the specifics of the coin's grade. Collectors are particularly interested in the 1980 large date variant due to the rarity of the error and its historical significance. Coins with mint mark issues or anomalies tend to fetch higher premiums, as they are often sought after by serious numismatists. The P-error mint mark is what makes this particular coin valuable. Normally, quarters from the Philadelphia Mint are struck with a P mint mark, but due to a minting error, some coins from 1980 feature an incorrect mint mark placement or a slight variation in the size of the pile. These errors are rare and highly sought after by collectors who specialize in coin anomalies. Next up, the 1947 Lincoln Wheat Cent is part of the long-running series of pennies produced by the U.S. Mint, starting in 1909 and lasting until 1958. The Lincoln Cent, designed by Victor David Brenner, is one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history. In 1947, the United States was recovering from the turmoil of World War I. The country had endured significant economic challenges, but by the late 1940s, it was entering a period of growth. The 1947 coin is particularly significant in this context because it reflects a time when the country was rebuilding and the U.S. Mint was working to meet the high demand for circulating currency. While the Lincoln Cent series remains known for its simple yet elegant design of Abraham Lincoln's portrait, it's important to note that there were different types and variations throughout the years, including those with different mint marks. The 1947 coin with the S Mint mark adds a layer of intrigue for collectors, as the San Francisco Mint was known for producing coins that often became rare due to limited production. The design of the 1947 Lincoln Wheat Cent remained largely unchanged from its original design in 1909. On the obverse, the coin features a portrait of President Abraham Lincoln with the inscriptions "Liberty in God, We Trust, and the Year of Minting." The reverse showcases 2 stalks of wheat, symbolizing the country's agricultural roots, along with the phrase "E pluribus unum" and United States of America. The presence of the large date on the 1947 coin means that the numbers are spaced out more widely compared to earlier years, making it a distinct feature for collectors. The S Mint mark on this coin signifies it was minted at the San Francisco Mint, one of the more desirable marks for numismatists because of the mint's historical context and relatively lower production numbers for certain years. The 1947 Lincoln Wheat Cent with the S Mint mark was minted in substantial quantities, but in terms of overall rarity, it's not among the rarest of the series. However, its value increases significantly when it's found in less than perfect condition. This particular coin's dirty condition, along with the black coloration, suggests that it was likely subjected to environmental conditions that have altered its appearance over time. While a well-preserved 1947 Lincoln penny could fetch around $1 to $3 in average circulated condition, a coin like this one, with its dirty blackened patina, has gained collector attention due to its unique appearance. In today's market, this coin could fetch anywhere from $200,000 at auction, depending on the specific state of its damage and rarity. Collectors are particularly interested in this coin because of its distinctive look and the potential for future value appreciation as it becomes rarer with time. Many collectors believe that coins with environmental damage, especially those showing unique blackened colors, might become increasingly sought after as the demand for original historical artifacts grows. While the 1947 Lincoln Wheat Cent doesn't have any obvious minting errors in this case, the coin does possess a certain uniqueness due to its worn, dirty state. Some collectors specialize in coins that have been subject to weathering or even unnatural discoloration, as these can be seen as rare anomalies in the world of numismatics. The San Francisco Mint mark, combined with its damage and black coloration, adds to its allure as a coin with both historical significance and aesthetic intrigue. Collectors who specialize in unique, offbeat coins may find this example fascinating, and its auction value could be higher depending on the bidder's interests. Furthermore, it's worth noting that, like many other rare coins, the value of the 1947 Lincoln Cent may continue to appreciate as fewer examples survive in any condition. Next up, the 1972 Washington Quarter stands out in American coinage for several reasons. Not only is it a part of the beloved Washington series, but it also carries one of the most famous and sought after mint errors in the world of numismatics, the large date with Derrer Mint mark. Let's break down exactly why this coin is so valuable. The Washington Quarter was first introduced in 1932 to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. This design, created by artist John Flanagan, has remained in use through various changes, but the most famous are the bicentennial redesign and the numerous mint errors that have occurred over the years. The 1972 Washington quarter was minted at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, with the Denver Mint producing coins with the D Mint mark. While most 1972 quarters were struck with a standard-size date, a significant number of quarters were mistakenly minted with a larger date on the obverse, creating a distinct error. The 1972 Washington quarter features the iconic profile of George Washington on the obverse, with the word liberty above his head and in God, we trust to the left. To the right, you'll find the year of minting. The reverse of the coin displays an eagle with spread wings, clutching an olive branch in one talon and arrows in the other, surrounded by the inscriptions United States of America and E pluribus unum. The coin's edge is reeded, as is standard for quarters. In the case of the 1972 large date with D error, the size of the numbers in the date was slightly larger than the standard issue, creating a noticeable difference when compared to a regular 1972 quarter. This minting error happened at the Denver Mint, where some of the coins were struck with a larger date die-paired with a D Mint mark, creating an anomaly that has sparked the interest of collectors. In terms of mintage, the 1972 Washington quarter was produced in large numbers across the country, but only a fraction of these featured the error. The total number of 1972 Washington quarters with a D Mint mark is around 281 million. However, the number with the large date error is much smaller, and while an exact figure remains unconfirmed, estimates suggest that only about 10-15 of these 1972 D Mint marked coins are known to have the error. The 1972 Washington quarter with large date and D Mint mark error is one of the most recognized and sought after mint errors from the 1970s, and it holds significant value in the market. In good condition, a 1972 quarter with this error can be worth around $49,300. The value fluctuates depending on factors like overall condition, the intensity of the error, and the appeal to collectors. However, if the coin is in extremely fine or uncirculated condition, it could fetch much higher prices, reaching up to $50,000 or more in some rare cases. The value is also impacted by the ongoing collector interest in error coins, as well as their presence in auction markets, where rare coins often attract competitive bidding. As for the interest from collectors, this particular error has a cult following. It's considered a rare mistake in minting, and its scarcity makes it an appealing addition to any collection. Given that mint errors are generally viewed as an anomaly, they tend to appreciate over time, which only increases the appeal for both beginning collectors and seasoned enthusiasts looking to add a high-value coin to their portfolio. The 1972 Washington quarter with a large date and D error mint mark is part of a growing trend among collectors who are increasingly drawn to minting mistakes. These errors create uniqueness, and in the world of numismatics, uniqueness equals value. As this coin is still within reach for many collectors, its value is expected to appreciate steadily over time. Auction houses that deal in rare coins often see intense bidding wars when it comes to mint errors. So, if you're lucky enough to own a 1972 Washington quarter with this error, it could prove to be a highly lucrative asset in your collection, with its price likely increasing as the years go by and the availability of high-quality specimens diminishes. Next up, the 1957 Lincoln wheat cent marked the end of an era for the series, as the U.S. Mint prepared to transition to the Lincoln Memorial design that would be introduced in 1959. By this time, the series had been running for almost 5 decades, with its design unchanged for much of that period. In 1957, the U.S. economy was in a state of flux as the country dealt with post-war inflation and rapid growth. The 1950s saw increased production of consumer goods and a booming economy, with coins like the 1957 cent being produced in large quantities to keep pace with the demand for currency. The D Mint mark indicates that this particular coin was produced at the Denver Mint, which was responsible for a significant portion of the nation's coin production during this time. Coins from Denver tend to be common in circulation, but certain mint marks and conditions can make them especially valuable. The 1957 Lincoln wheat cent featured the same design as earlier versions of the series, with Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and the 2 stalks of wheat on the reverse. However, the coin in question has some distinct characteristics that set it apart from the standard issue. First, the coin has a red color shade. Over time, copper coins like the Lincoln cent can develop a reddish hue, particularly when they have been stored in certain environments. This color shift is due to the oxidation of copper, and coins like this one are especially coveted by collectors who appreciate the coin's aged aesthetic. However, the coin in question also displays lamination damage, a rare and desirable flaw among collectors. Lamination errors occur when layers of metal fail to bond properly during the minting process, resulting in peeling or flaking on the surface of the coin. This defect adds a layer of intrigue and rarity to the coin, making it even more valuable. While the 1957 Lincoln wheat cent was produced in massive quantities over 1 billion coins, the combination of the D mint mark, the red coloration, and the lamination damage makes this coin unique. In typical circulated condition, the 1957 Lincoln cent might only be worth a few cents to $1. However, with the right errors and unique characteristics, this coin could fetch anywhere from $56,000 at auction. As a coin with lamination damage, its value lies in the rarity of the flaw and the collector interest in such errors. Coins like this often appeal to specialists who are looking for unusual and rare examples from the Lincoln wheat cent series. The lamination error is the key feature that drives up the value of this 1957 penny. Lamination errors are relatively rare and happen when the copper and zinc layers of the coin fail to fuse correctly during the minting process. These defects can create an uneven or peeling surface that's visually striking and highly collectible. The coin's red color adds another layer of collector appeal. Red pennies, while not particularly rare, are often more desirable than their brown or copper counterparts because of their vibrant color and relatively well-preserved state. Collectors looking for error coins, particularly those with a visible flaw like lamination damage, will find this 1957 Lincoln cent especially intriguing. The auction value can vary significantly based on the extent of the error and the coin's overall condition, but this coin is an excellent example of a type of penny that appeals to niche collectors who appreciate the unique beauty of imperfect coins. Next up, the 1970 Washington quarter, specifically the version without a mint mark, holds a special place in the hearts of collectors due to its rarity and pristine design. While most of the Washington quarters from the 1970s were produced with the D Denver or S San Francisco mint marks, the 1970 without a mint mark is a key date coin for numismatists, especially when found in extra fine condition. Let's explore the historical significance, design features, mintage numbers, and why this coin remains one of the most sought after pieces in the market. The Washington Quarter Series, first introduced in 1932 to commemorate George Washington's bicentennial birthday, is one of the longest-running coin series in U.S. history. The 1970 Washington Quarter came in a period of transition for the United States Mint. The quarter's design remained the same throughout the post-bicentennial era, but the economic climate and changes in coinage production led to variations in minting practices. The 1970 Washington Quarter was struck primarily at the Philadelphia Mint, without a mint mark, and at the Denver and San Francisco Mints with their respective mint marks. The Philadelphia Mint produced the largest number of quarters that year, but the absence of a mint mark on these coins makes them distinctive. In fact, it was a bit unusual for a quarter to be minted without a mint mark during this period, as most coins had either AD or in cent mint mark indicating their place of origin. What sets the 1970 quarter apart from other years is the absence of a mint mark on the Philadelphia produced versions. Philadelphia coins of that time often carried no mint mark, while coins from Denver and San Francisco were typically marked with the D or S. This oversight in mint marking made the Philadelphia 1970 Washington Quarter stand out. The total mintage of the 1970 Washington Quarter without a mint mark is estimated at around 62 million. While the number might seem high, it's important to note that not all of these coins are available today, especially in top-tier conditions. The wear and tear that naturally occurs over time, combined with the sheer volume of quarters produced, means that only a small percentage of these coins exist in extra fine or uncirculated condition. Given the relatively high number of quarters minted that year, The 1970 Washington quarter without a mint mark might not immediately seem like a rare coin. However, the condition of the coin is what really drives its value in the marketplace. A coin in extra fine condition XF has minimal wear, with most of the original details intact, making it a much more desirable collector's item than one in poor or average condition. In terms of market value, a 1970 Washington quarter without a mint mark in extra fine condition can be valued between $300,000, depending on factors like the coin's eye appeal and overall condition. However, if the coin is in mint state Mrs. 65 or higher, its value can significantly increase, reaching prices in the range of $326,000. These figures can vary depending on demand, auction results, and the overall health of the numismatic market. Despite the relatively high mintage numbers, the 1970 Washington quarter without a mint mark is highly regarded for its rarity and higher grades, as many of these coins have been circulated and show signs of wear. The coin's lack of mint mark makes it even more interesting to collectors who are looking for key date pieces, as it adds a unique aspect to the collection. The absence of a mint mark on this coin adds an element of mystery and intrigue. For collectors, this is a perfect example of a coin that falls into the category of low mintage, high interest despite its seemingly high mintage number. The condition of the coin is what truly determines its value. Coins in extra fine condition offer a glimpse into history, preserved with a significant amount of original detail for collectors. This means they are holding onto a piece of American history that is relatively scarce compared to other years in the Washington Quarter series. Interest in this coin has increased steadily in recent years, particularly among collectors of Washington quarters and U.S. coinage from the 1960s and 1970s. With the rising interest in coins from these decades, especially those that are well preserved, the 1970 Washington quarter, without mint mark, has become an excellent option for collectors seeking to diversify their holdings. Auction houses have noted an uptick in bidding wars when rare or high-grade examples of this coin are put on the market, further reinforcing its value. Many collectors see this as an opportunity to acquire a low-cost but high-potential asset that could appreciate in value as time goes on. Next up, the 1952 Lincoln wheat penny with the D mint mark represents an essential piece of United States coinage history, carrying with it the legacy of one of the most famous coins ever issued, the Lincoln wheat cent. In 1952, the U.S. Mint produced millions of these pennies, but certain ones, particularly those that have experienced damage or alterations, hold unique value for collectors. Today, we're focusing on a specific example that may sound less than desirable due to its full scratches and damage condition, but in the world of coin collecting, even damaged coins can surprise you with their market value. The Lincoln wheat cent was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. The coin, designed by Victor David Brenner, features a profile of Lincoln on the obverse and 2 stalks of wheat on the reverse. The design was a tribute to Lincoln's legacy, a representation of unity and peace following the American Civil War. By 1952, the U.S. Mint had already produced millions of Lincoln wheat pennies, and they had become a staple in the nation's coinage. However, the 1950s marked a transitional period in American coinage. The coinage landscape was changing due to inflationary pressures and evolving designs. The Lincoln wheat cent was eventually replaced by the Lincoln Memorial cent in 1959. However, the remaining wheat pennies, including the 1952 version, became a significant part of the collectible market. The 1952 Lincoln wheat cent features the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with the words "In God We Trust" above, the year of mintage below, and the inscription "Liberty" to the left of Lincoln's profile. The reverse side displays 2 stalks of wheat, symbolizing the country's agricultural heritage, with the inscription "E pluribus unum" above and 1 cent below. The coin is made of 95 copper and 5 tin and zinc. The D mint mark on this specific coin means it was minted in Denver, Colorado. The mint mark helps to differentiate the origin of the coin, as coins were also minted in Philadelphia, no mint mark, and San Francisco, S mint mark. Although this specific coin is in full scratches damage condition, It is essential to understand that damage doesn't necessarily diminish a coin's worth. In fact, damaged coins, especially older ones, can often retain significant value because of their rarity and historical context. As for the 1952 wheat cent, even with damage, collectors may find it appealing due to its age, historical significance, and the large number of collectors interested in acquiring such pieces for their collections. Currently, the 1952 Lincoln wheat cent with AD mint mark in full scratches damage condition might fetch anywhere from $20,000 at auctions, depending on the severity of the damage and the specific buyer's interest. While this isn't a high-value coin in pristine condition, it remains a highly collectible piece of U.S. numismatic history. There are some specific errors associated with the 1952 penny, such as double die obverse coins, which could significantly increase its value. However, the full scratches on this particular coin likely suggest wear rather than an error. Nevertheless, collectors often find coins with unusual damage or unique imperfections interesting due to their potential backstory or connection to the history of the coin. Next up, the 1965 Washington quarter dollar holds an essential place in American numismatic history. This year marked the beginning of a major transformation in U.S. coinage. In the early 1960s, there was a significant shortage of silver, and the U.S. Treasury Department made the decision to remove silver from most circulating coins, including the quarter, which had previously been struck in 90 silver. Instead, the quarter was made of a copper nickel-clad composition, which drastically changed its appearance and composition. The 1965 Washington quarter was the first to feature this new metal, signaling a shift in U.S. coinage. However, this change led to confusion and speculation about the value of these new coins, especially those minted without the silver content that collectors had grown to love. Despite this, the Washington quarter remained highly popular, primarily due to its design featuring George Washington's bust on the obverse, which was inspired by the original portrait created by John Flanagan in 1932. The reverse features the traditional eagle in flight, perched with an olive branch in one claw and arrows in the other. The eagle is facing left, symbolizing the strength and resilience of the United States. Around the eagle are the inscriptions United States of America and quarter dollar. The lack of a mint mark on most coins from this year is an important feature, with no D for Denver or S for San Francisco. All 1965 quarters were minted at the Philadelphia Mint, contributing to their unique status in the numismatic community. The 1965 Washington quarter had an astonishing mintage of over 1.8 billion coins produced that year. The overwhelming number of coins minted for circulation means that many of these quarters are relatively common and can be found in circulation even today. However, the high mintage does not necessarily mean that all 1965 quarters are of equal value. The specific condition of the coin, its wear and tear, and any potential unique features such as errors or special minting conditions significantly impact its value in today's market. In good condition, the 1965 Washington quarter without a mint mark holds a modest market value. Given the high mintage, most of these coins are still relatively affordable, typically valued around $400,000. However, the value increases dramatically if the coin is in higher grades or if it possesses any unique characteristics, such as a minting error or unusual toning. Collectors often seek these coins in better grades, such as very fine or extremely fine, as these represent examples with minimal wear, while maintaining much of the coin's original luster and detail. Coins in these higher grades can fetch between $410,000, depending on the demand, at auction. If you happen to have a 1965 Washington quarter in mint state, the value could rise significantly, with certain coins even crossing into the $500,000 range in pristine, uncirculated condition. While the 1965 quarter may not be one of the rarest or most valuable coins on the market, it still carries substantial interest for collectors of U.S. coinage due to its historical significance and its connection to the transition in U.S. currency production. Even though the 1965 Washington quarter is relatively common, certain errors and variations have sparked immense collector interest. For example, there are some rare instances where the 1965 quarter may show a variety of minting errors, such as double dies, die clashes, or off-center strikes, which can cause the coin's value to skyrocket. A major factor that collectors look for is any variation in the large date style, which can sometimes be misinterpreted as a mint error. While the official records state that all 1965 quarters should have a large date, certain irregularities or misalignments in the die can lead to coins with different date impressions. Such coins, particularly those found in high-grade condition, could be worth thousands of dollars at auction. Thanks for joining us. Happy collecting.